प्रारभ्यते न खलु विघ्नभयेन नीचैः प्रारभ्य विघ्नविहता विरमन्ति मध्याः विघ्नैः पुनः पुनरपि प्रतिहन्यमानाः प्रारब्धमुत्तमजना न परित्यजन्ति.
Today I want to walk with you through one of the most quietly powerful verses in all of Sanskrit literature. It comes from the Niti Shataka, the century of verses on wise conduct, written by the poet king Bhartrhari around 1500 years ago. Listen to it first, slowly. Prarabhyate na khalu vigna bhayena nichaiha. Prarabhya vigna vihata viramanti madhyah. Vignaiha punah punar api pratihanyamanaha. Prarabdham uttamajana na parityajanti. In plain words, the lowest kind of people never even begin a task out of fear of obstacles. The middling kind begin, but the moment obstacles strike them, they stop. And the highest kind of people, though beaten back by obstacles again and again and again, never abandon what they have begun. Let's take it apart word by word, because the Sanskrit hides treasures. The verse opens with prarabhyate from the root rabh, which means to grasp, to seize. So in this language, to begin something is literally to take hold of it, to close your hand around it. Then comes vigna bhayena, meaning out of fear of obstacles. The word vigna, obstacle, comes from the root han, to strike. An obstacle is that which strikes things apart, and bhaya is fear. Nichaiha means by the low ones. So the first line says, by the low, out of fear of obstacles, the task is never even grasped. Now here is a beautiful secret in the grammar. That first line is in the passive voice. Bhartrhari does not even allow the fearful person to be the subject of the sentence. The task is simply not begun. He denies them the dignity of being an actor at all. Then the middle people get an active verb, viramanti, they seize. And the highest people get the strongest phrase of all, na parityajanti. They absolutely do not abandon, while the obstacles are demoted to mere instruments in the background. As you rise through the verse, agency itself rises with you. One more jewel. The phrase pratihanyamanaha is a present participle. It means being beaten back right now, ongoing. Bhartrhari does not show us heroes after their victory, wearing garlands and telling old war stories. He catches them in the middle of the beating and says, even here, even now, they do not let go. Greatness in this verse is not a highlight reel. It lives in the present continuous tense. Where does this verse come from? Bhartrhari, by tradition, was a king of Ujjain who eventually renounced his throne. He wrote 3 centuries of verses, one on wise conduct, one on love, one on renunciation. This verse sits in the chapter on fortitude. And notice something radical about it. Bhartrhari lived in a deeply hierarchical society, where words like low, middle and high usually refer to birth. He quietly detonates all of that. In this verse, your rank is decided by one thing only, your relationship to obstacles. You are not high-born or low-born here. You become low, middle or high every single time an obstacle arrives. And the same person can be lowest toward one dream and highest toward another. Look deeper and you find sharp psychology. The lowest person is not defeated by an obstacle. He is defeated by Vigna Bhaya, the fear of an obstacle, a ghost, a projection. His battle is lost before the battlefield is ever entered. The middle person at least meets a real obstacle, but takes the first blow as a final verdict. The highest person hears something different in the blow. Not a verdict, but information. Not this way, try another. This is exactly what modern psychology has rediscovered. Angela Duckworth's research on grit found that perseverance toward long-term goals predicts achievement better than raw talent. Carol Dweck's growth mindset is precisely the difference between hearing an obstacle say you cannot and hearing it say not like this. The Stoic emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote that the impediment to action advances action, that what stands in the way becomes the way. The Japanese say, fall 7 times, rise 8. Rome, Ujjain, Kyoto, the same steel forged in different fires. And notice what the verse never promises. It never says the highest people succeed. It says only that they do not abandon. This echoes the Bhagavad Gita's great teaching. Your entitlement is to the action alone, never to its fruits. Persistence here is not a trick for winning, it is a form of character. In the Indian imagination, obstacles are almost sacred. Ganesha is worshipped at the start of every venture as Vignaharta, the remover of obstacles, and also, tellingly, as the one who places them. Obstacles are the examiners of a worthy undertaking, the toll gate every real dream must pass. So let me leave you with 3 questions and 1 practice. First, where in your life are you currently the lowest, the nicha? Name one thing you deeply want that you have never actually started. Is the obstacle real or is it a fear you have never even touched? Second, where did you quietly become the middle person, the madhya? Recall something you abandoned after the very first serious blow. If you retell that story as, I stopped when struck once, does it still feel finished? Third, what is your prarabdham, the begun thing you refuse to abandon? If you cannot name one, what would be worthy of that refusal? And here is the practice. Choose one living undertaking. For the next 30 days, keep a simple log with 2 columns. Every time you are struck back, a rejection, a failure, a discouragement, write it down and number it. Blow number 4, blow number 5. Numbering turns a verdict into a mere count. Then, in the second column, within 1 day, write the single next action you took because you are not abandoning. No blow may sit alone without an answer beside it. Do this and you are literally living the grammar of the verse, always being struck and always, even so, not letting go. Punah punar api, again and again, even so. May you close your hand around what is worth beginning, and may nothing ever pry it open.
प्रारभ्यते न खलु विघ्नभयेन नीचैः प्रारभ्य विघ्नविहता विरमन्ति मध्याः विघ्नैः पुनः पुनरपि प्रतिहन्यमानाः प्रारब्धमुत्तमजना न परित्यजन्ति।